Don't flip the white.
Okay, I'm just
Let's
gonna
just
do.
go
I'm just gonna
fast.
do red. I'm just gonna do red.
Okay.
Got 3 left in the deck.
Yellow, purple. Blue is
Does
pretty
any-
bad. Orange is pretty
Orange is
bad.
all I got.
Does everybody
That's
have a
great.
single in their hand?
Yeah, we
Sure,
should flip the
we'll
white,
get it
flip
right
the
now.
white, flip the white.
Hey there, welcome to Board Game Barrister, our local game shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is Tuesday once again, and every Tuesday we get to play a game. Today we played Kites, a game about kites where we're trying to keep kites in the air, and their airtime is represented by these sand timers, which are constantly going out, and we have to play cards to try to flip them over. It's a whole thing. We're going to talk about all that in just a second here. I'm here with my fellow barristers, Ian and Elizabeth, and before we get into our game and everything we loved about it, we're going to talk about how to play. Welcome to Kites, a game where we're going to have to work together with our fellow players to put on a kite show. To start the game, we're going to put all of our color sand timers on their sides with all the sand on one side, and these represent the kites that are grounded and haven't been launched into the air yet. And then we've got our white show timer, which we're going to flip and make active as soon as we decide to start our game and start the kite show. Every player is going to start the game with a hand of cards. And we've got 2 goals in the game. The first of which is to play every single card in this deck representing a perfectly done kite show. And the second is to make sure that none of our kites touch the ground in the course of our show because that'll end it immediately. So we want to make sure none of our sand timers run out. So let's start the show. I'm going to flip the white sand timer and that means we're off to the races. And on each player's turn, they're going to play exactly 1 card from their hand. So say for instance, I played this blue and orange card. That means I'm going to activate our blue and orange kites. And now these kites are active as well. I draw 1 new card to fill my hand back up, and then it's the next player's turn, and they're going to go as fast as they can. Now, once a kite is activated, and you can see all my sand timers are running down and getting a little low here, anytime a player plays that color from now on, that means they're going to flip that sand timer rather than activating that kite and launching it. And eventually our show is going to look a little bit more like this. So all of our kites are active, and we're going to start calling out to other players which ones are starting to run low and we think they should be able to play cards for. I'm getting a little low on red and orange right now, so if I had that card, I have red and orange. And I'm going to flip those 2, and then it's the next player's turn, and we keep going around and around, filling our hands back up and emptying that deck as fast as we can. The one other thing to know is that there are no cards with a white symbol to flip the white sand timer. The only way to flip that show timer is for a player to have a card with a single symbol on it, so a single red for instance, or a single purple. Then they can choose to forgo flipping the one they would normally and instead flip that white timer. We'll keep going around until that deck is almost empty, and then we're going to reach the finale of the show as soon as a player picks up the last card in that deck. As soon as that card's been picked up, that means we can't touch the white timer anymore. This is the end of the show, and that's the amount of time we have left. So we're also not going to be drawing cards because the deck is empty. We're just going to play cards as fast as we can, try to get them all out of our hands, and try to make sure none of these sand timers run out. And if we start to get really good at kite shows and we're winning the game, we can add in challenge cards to make the game a little bit more difficult on ourselves and a little more fun, to be honest. The first type of challenge card, and perhaps my favorite, is the storm card. As soon as you draw a storm card, you have to announce to the entire table, a storm is coming. And that means that on your next turn, so when you would next play a card, you have to play the storm card, and when you play it, you have to flip over every single sand timer on the table. Next up is the crossed lines. This one you actually don't get to warn your fellow players about, so when it comes to your next turn, even if people are telling you, we need to flip red, we need to flip purple, instead you're going to play across lines, and this means that everybody at the table has to trade 1 card to their left and 1 card to their right with the players next to them. Last is the airplane, and this is another one you don't get to warn your fellow players about when you draw it. On your next turn, after you've drawn an airplane, you have to play that airplane. Airplanes make a lot of noise, so you're not allowed to communicate at all with your fellow players, and neither are they until it comes around to your next turn and you cover this up with another card. Alright, so we were playing with 3 players today, obviously, and it's a fantastic game. We have all played it at least once before with a number of different player counts. It goes from 2 to 6 players, and the beauty of the game is that it more or less feels like the same gameplay no matter how many people you have, because everything is just reliant on the sand timers going down and cards getting played at the same rate. So if you have 2 people, you're just being the other person playing them more often and making quicker decisions about what gets played. If you're playing all the way up to 6, the cards go out just as fast. You just have kind of a second in between while the other players all get their cards down and flip the correct sand timers as they are watching for them. And it also means that no matter how many players you're playing with, the game takes like exactly the same amount of time. So they're all like sand timers between probably 30 seconds and 2 minutes. Purple's easily the longest, but you can always count down to have plenty of time left. Red is the little brat who is constantly running out of time, and you have to watch every single moment of the game. But aside from that, yeah, you're just constantly watching sand timers and going, so it's great.
Go, go.
It's red, yellow.
It's red.
We can use an orange, or we can just push through.
Oh no! You can go.
Orange.
Red. Go. So Kites is one of those cooperative games that I really enjoy because it allows you to play a game together with your friends where we've all got independent actions that we're going to be taking that are going to matter to the game a whole bunch, and no one can tell anybody what to do because it's played in real time. So those are some of my favorite cooperative games, are the ones where we've all got to take actions that are going to heavily impact what the outcome of the game is, and it's on us to make the right decisions or be limited to the wrong decisions and hopefully mitigate those. And there's communication constantly happening at the table, even when it's not your turn, of, hey, this one's running out, do you got this one? No, I don't got that one. Or, oh, I got this one in 2 turns. You get in sync with each other and you're almost like perfectly flipping the ones, and while one person's drawing, you're already playing your card and flipping the other ones over. So it gets into this cool rhythm of people playing together that I really enjoy.
It's
I
not
got
bad.
blue. I can get blue.
You got blue? Alright, I'm just gonna do white then.
Someone needs to do orange.
Okay. I can do the orange, but it's gonna cost a red. Yellow's bad as well. Thank you.
It's one of those games where there's not a ton of rules that you have to teach to everybody else, so you can literally pick up and play while you're waiting for other people to arrive, or if things just, aren't going in your party or gathering, you can get things going pretty fast by just having this on the table.
Yeah. It's like what I like to call an appetizer game. You can put it at the beginning or the end of the night and feel great about it, starting your gaming night and ending your gaming night as a final hurrah. So,
You know how appetizers work?
yeah. So, if you've never been drunk at Applebee's at 2 o'clock in the morning, I have something to tell you, okay? Because the appetizers then, they really hit. And that's what Kites is, a drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning kind of appetizer game.
Touche.
Oh wait, I have to do the thing that Glenn always does. And I love how the sand timers are like the rainbow colors, and the hottest colors are the fastest ones. So it's this cute little, like thing, because the best kites are like the rainbow colored kites, going out to the beach or the park. Yeah,
That's true though, the art is actually pretty
they're
cool.
really cute.
Yeah, you don't have time to look at it, but it's very nice.
When did you look at it?
It's worth calling out that in addition to being a game about colored sand timers, they did do symbols on the top of each of them that match the symbols on the cards as well, so that if there is somebody who has like a color vision deficiency between a couple of these colors, they can match by symbol really quickly and easily.
Yeah.
So. All right, what more is there to say about Kites except that it is fantastic? We had a really fun time with this one. Hope you had a fun time watching. And as always, you can hit that like button, leave a comment if you got a comment, hit subscribe if you want to see our videos every week, and check out our online store where we've got Kites and a bunch of other awesome games. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time. All right, what more is there? All right, what more is there to say about Kites except? All right, what more is there to say about?
It's kind of
Okay, it's kind of